state funeral for Nikola Tesla. Tesla was cremated, and his ashes are now contained in the perfect sphere, Tesla's favorite geometric shape. There is a plaque embedded on the wall of the New York Hotel honoring Nikola Tesla, a representation of his bust. Life-size statues stand in New York City, Shoreham Island, Niagara Falls, and in Tesla's home nation of Croatia. Next time you see one of Elon Musk's Tesla cars, every time you plug your cell phone into a charger, every time you point that TV remote, try to remember that lonely old man feeding the pigeons in the park. Remember that because he dared to take upon himself the prerogatives of Indra, Zeus, and Perun, that you might enjoy the common everyday devices your great-grandparents could not even conceptualize, let alone entertain a conversation of the amazing details that Nikola Tesla planned to steal more power from the gods, forever turning it into a plaything for man. Tesla was known to say, "One bolt of lightning is a sonata. 1,000 bolts of lightning is a symphony." Nikola Tesla's music, like the other mighty gods of thunder, will echo through the heavens forever. Can you hear it? BADMach. Bruce Wayne learned the power of fear while only a young boy, watching as his wealthy socialite parents were brutally murdered before his own eyes, gunned down by a degenerate street thug. The young Wayne swore a solemn vow to avenge their deaths. Imbued with an iron will and $1 billion inheritance, Bruce Wayne traveled the world, seeking out and becoming student to the best criminologists, detectives, and the most skilled fighters in order to train his body and mind to the peak of human perfection. Donning his familiar cape and cowl, Bruce Wayne stalks the streets of Gotham City, hunting criminals and rogues as the Batman. Superheroes Help Their Fans' Self-Image by Lindsay Conkle, My Health News Magazine, and Live Science. Batman may be saving more than Gotham City. For throngs of devoted male fans, the muscular superhero may bolster body image too, according to a new study. Men in the study, who said they felt a bond with Batman or Spider-Man, also reported feeling more satisfied with their own bodies after seeing a picture of the muscular superhero, while men who felt indifferent towards the superhero felt worse about themselves. Previous research suggested that seeing muscular male figures makes men feel bad about their own bodies, but the new results suggest that men who felt a personal connection with the svelte superhero are free from the typically damaging effects of seeing an unobtainably buff physique. In fact, in some cases, looking at pictures of a superhero actually increased men's strength, the researchers found. For some men, exposure to extremely muscular superheroes may actually have a positive effect. It may make them feel better about their bodies, said the study researcher Ariana Young, a graduate student in psychology at the University of Buffalo in New York. In the study, Young and her colleagues asked nearly 100 male college students how much they liked two popular superheroes of the comic books and movies, Batman and Spider-Man, as to determine how bonded the men felt with those characters. The researchers also manipulated images of the two superheroes to look either muscular or skinny, and showed each a picture to the participants. Men who did not feel a bond with the superhero said they felt worse about their bodies after seeing the muscular image, but not after seeing the scrawny version, according to the study. Men who had just viewed the muscular-looking body of their favorite superhero also showed greater strength in the hand grip test than those that had seen the non-muscular version of the superhero. The researchers found that the participants' own physiques had nothing to do with whether they felt more or less satisfied with their bodies after seeing muscular images, or how they performed on the grip test. As a previous study involving women and images of ultra-thin female celebrities produced similar results, women who felt connection with a thin celeb felt no worse about their own body after looking at pictures of that celebrity. Identifying with a thin female celebrity may lead women to perceive their own bodies as thinner, according to research. While much of the research on body image issues has focused on women, body dissatisfaction is a growing problem among men, said Jesse Steinfeld, a sports psychologist and professor of counseling at Indiana University. While the pressure to conform to muscular stereotypes isn't new, men are more inundated today than in the past with images of big, jacked-up-looking men and "here's what you should look like" messages, Steinfeld said. Previous research of men linked body dissatisfaction to low self-esteem, depression, steroid use, and an unhealthy preoccupation with their muscularity. But the allure of Batman may come with more than his rippling muscles. The comic book superhero was invented to address male vulnerability. Men have actually read the comic book are exposed to all sides of the superhero and not just his body type, said Sharon Lamb, a professor of counseling psychology at the University of Massachusetts in Boston, and co-author of Packaging Boyhood, Saving Our Sons from Superheroes, Slackers, and Other Media Stereotypes. The study shows that boys and men need role models who are whole people, and if they get those kind of role models, they feel better about themselves, their vulnerabilities, than their own bodies. Are you ready to get blitzed? Prepare yourself for life's uphill battle. Master Trainer Jim D's Fitness Blitz training techniques will make you stronger, more determined, and ready for any challenge. Burn fat, build muscle, improve your cardiovascular health with resistance training, mental conditioning, martial arts, yoga, and sports-specific performance enhancement. Train in your home, on Fitness Blitz certified equipment, or in your local gym. Take the Fitness Blitz Challenge. Begin every day by pushing your limits and taking control of your life. Grab life by the horns and reach for your ideal potential. Dive into a new concept in total health and competitive activity. Challenge yourself to be better and dare not to fail with Fitness Blitz. Learn more at www.fitnessblitztv or by calling 917-804-6589. Begin your quest to be your best with Fitness Blitz today. This is the original man machine, Jim Dynamo. When I need a break from defending the Earth from alien invaders, I listen to The Online Movie Show with Phil Hall, Mondays at 7 p.m., only on pprnradio.net. Download the podcast now. You're listening to Bad Machine on the PPRN Radio Network, pprnradio.net. Let's listen to two very different men who have held the same position as executive for these United States. Listen as two men who have volunteered to serve the American people see this world and this nation in two very different and opposite manners. Look at how one consoles the people of his state, the people of his city, and the people of his nation. And look at how the other rubs salt in the wounds, hiding his own personal hatreds behind media propaganda and race lies.
Today the nation grieves, but those of us who love Dallas and call it home have had 5 deaths in the family. Laura and I see members of law enforcement every day. We count them as our friends. And we know, like for every other American, that their courage is our protection and shield. We're proud of the men we mourn and the community that has rallied to honor them and support the wounded. Our mayor and police chief and our police department have been mighty inspirations for the rest of the nation.
We also know that centuries of racial discrimination, of slavery and subjugation and Jim Crow, they didn't simply vanish with the end of lawful segregation. They didn't just stop when Dr. King made a speech or the Voting Rights Act and the Civil Rights Act were signed.
With their deaths, we have lost so much. We are grief-stricken, heartbroken, and forever grateful.
But America, we know that bias remains.
Listen to how one expresses love and one expresses hate. Listen how Barry scoffs at the dead policeman, camouflaging his own personal hatred by accusing others of similar hate. What type of sociopath is this man?
We know it. Whether you are black or white or Hispanic or Asian or Native American or of Middle Eastern descent, we have all seen this bigotry in our own lives at some point. If we're honest, perhaps we've heard prejudice in our own heads and felt it in our own hearts. We know that. And while some suffer far more under racism's burden, some feel to a far greater extent discrimination's sting. None of us is entirely innocent. No institution is entirely immune. And that includes our police departments.
Some suffer from more racism, claims Barry. I'll tell you who suffers from racism in this country. People who are not black suffer from racism in this country. The group who suffers most from racism in this country are heterosexual, Caucasian males who are institutionally prevented from acquiring the positions they have naturally achieved through grades and performance and study, to be pushed aside through affirmative action policies that spit all over the American Constitution and violate the rights of a single class of citizens. Anyone who can read knows that that is an institutionalized racism, the only institutional racism that exists in this nation. Affirmative action. You hold back the successful, and you advance the pathetic. And when I say pathetic, you're listening to the pathetic right now. Barry Obama. Little Barry Obama. Little Barry Obama repeating prison-born hatred and myths that are propagated by the American media. The very same media who find the isolated incidents of white on black crime or the minority of police shooting incidents where blacks are shot by police officers and present these as if this is the only thing that occurs in this nation. Well, it's interesting. For every black thug that gets killed by the police that the media makes a big to-do about, 96 Caucasian women were raped that very same day by black males. 640 Caucasian individuals of all ages were assaulted by blacks in race-based attacks. Yet the media finds an isolated incident and presents that as the norm. And it presents it as the norm because it is presenting its own Jim Crow narrative. That blacks are oppressed by the evil white people. The same evil white people who run the Democrat Party. Barack Obama is the head of the Democrat Party. Barack Obama is the head of the party who created the KKK and who created the Jim Crow laws that he is always harping about. I can guarantee you, Barack, what's his name, couldn't tell you exactly what the Jim Crow laws are. I can guarantee it, because he's that pathetic and ignorant an individual.
Some feel to a far greater extent discrimination's sting. None of us is entirely innocent. No institution is entirely immune. And that includes our police departments.
He talks about police department bias. Last year, approximately 500 Americans were shot, whether they were armed or unarmed,